This is the moment we waited for. Everything you want is right here. We gon' give them what they came for. We gon' take it up from last year. Shoot 'em a shot, boy, I'm long range. Me and the team on the same thing. Stayed down, never switched up. Only thing changed was the game. I'm in the zone now. Nothing can change what we on now. When I pull up, know it's going down. Foot on the gas, ain't no slowing down. Aiming for greatness, no settling. Kick down the doors, they won't let me in.
What up, what up, what up? It's your boy, Phil Porto, a.k.a. Phil All Caps, and I am excited for today. It's been a crazy week. Like, so much has happened. Sometimes it feels like we get on the show and I'm like, all right, what are we going to talk about? And then sometimes I'm like, do we have enough time to talk about everything that we need to talk about? And this is one of those episodes. So shout out to everybody that's already coming into the chat. Shout out to Rah42680. Shout out to my guy, Prezi the Boss, up in the building. Hoping he's having a delicious pour with us tonight. Looking forward to hearing, his thoughts on some of the things that have been going on with our New York Knicks. But like always, I will be joined by two of the best in the game. My guy, Apollo Reed, Mr. Guard Up Knicks himself. My guy, Al from Harlem, a.k.a. Mr. Knicks Life Crisis. And I'm excited because it's been a week and we've been chatting in our group chat as well as me and my KOT chat. And there is a plethora of things that we can chop it up about today. So without further ado, I'm going to bring up my two guys and get this thing started immediately. So what up to Mr. Apollo Reed and Mr. Al from Harlem? Let's give it up.
What's good? What's good? Yeah. Peace. What's going on, man? Doing? Good.
Yeah, how's the week?
It's been a long one, but I'm here, man. The Knicks have been good. A lot of Knicks news, exciting. So
yeah,
I mean, I've been good on that front.
That's what's up. What's up? What up, Al?
I've been waiting for Thursday to drink my bourbon, man. Because now that I do the show, I don't like it. Whenever I used to watch the games, if I wanted to have a bourbon, I'll have a bourbon. But now since I do this show, I'm like, I already drink.
I'll just wait it out.
Thursday, so I'm like, I'll just wait for Thursday.
That's what's up. Speaking of, I am excited because I actually found out about these guys through some friends on the social media channels that were doing some reviews on it, and it sounded good, but I had not known anything about this brand at all. And so connected with them, and they were nothing but like straight up good people. And they are called Westland Distillery. So this is one of the bottles that we will be trying tonight. We're actually got a little flight night tonight of 4 of their bottles. But he did text me earlier today that he was feeling under the weather. So unfortunately, he's not going to be able to join us. But I told him we still would be shouting them out and talking about their brand. And it's really cool because like we've had so many people from different areas of the country that aren't the Bourbon Trail that have been on here sharing with us about their distillery. And so these guys are actually in Seattle, and they were founded in 2010, and they create a lot of incredible, bold expressions of American single malt whiskey. At least that's what I've been told. I tried not to crack any of these bottles until now. So besides the Pacific Northwest, that's where they're from. Single malt kind of flavors usually come from, other areas that, kind of imitate some Scotch whiskeys and their flavor profiles and stuff like that. So I'm excited to try these. Really, really cool. They sent over some like things that they would like us to highlight, but we're going to try 4 of their variations today. And so I'm excited to do that.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Single malt. Are they all? Did you say all of them are single malts?
They're all single malts.
All right. Now, can you explain to me exactly what a single malt is? Because I don't know that I actually know that.
Yeah. So single malt whiskey is like a U.S. whiskey category that's made up of malted barley. So it all comes from like a single distillery and then aged in like oak casks. So like that's the big thing, is that it's 100% malted barley.
Gotcha.
And
okay.
Yeah. So, and it must be distilled at one U.S. distillery. And so So we'll talk about like theirs and their finishes and stuff like that. And this Gariana one is one that I'm really, excited about because they're aged in barrels that are specific to that area that you really can't get anywhere else. And I think that there is now a rule that you can't really cut these down anymore because they're so rare to make the barrels. So it's like what is out there is out there. And then it's kind of like adios after that. So I'm excited to try these. We have their flagship. We have one that's finished in beer cask, and then one that's finished in wine casks, and then the Gariana 10-year. So, but before we get into that, I do want to thank everybody for tuning in so far. If everyone can please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. If you can, head over to Instagram, head over to Twitter, repost it, reshare, let people know that the show is live and we will get it going. And you guys were talking about your week, man. You guys saw me last week struggling on my wife's computer from 2015, barely being able to, get things across. But now I'm on a friend's computer. Shout out to my guy Danger for lending me his computer because unfortunately I got news that my computer is fried. So, and like a professional idiot who should know better because I used to work for Apple and I'm a professional photographer and videographer, I didn't back up any of my personal stuff. All my work stuff was backed up, but not any of my personal stuff. So all my Knicks Nightcap stuff, all my music that I've created, everything like that, nothing's backed up. So it's going to be a very frustrating situation trying to find a company to pay that can, get my content off of the old computer onto the new one that I'm eventually going to have to buy. So show your grace with me as I do not have all of my stuff. There will be no Dictionary tonight because they're all deleted and gone. And now I have to learn how to recreate them all. So it's going to be fun. But let's talk about these New York freaking Knicks. All right. So first, I want to give a shout out to Gusto NYC, one of my sponsors, for this hat that they sent over right here.
Yep,
this is their New York Knicks running like color running hat. And this is their Bendición shirt sweater that they sent me. And I wanted to go all out Gusto because they are a Puerto Rican, New York brand, and with what we're seeing from Jose Alvarado right now, I think all of us Boricuas need to be proud of what we're seeing, where everything that we have that represents who we are. So shout out to them.
You know what's crazy?
What's up?
Sorry, my bad. You know what's crazy?
No.
I just bought 2 running hats today. That's a running hat, right? I just bought 2 Brooks. I bought 2 Brooks running hats. I'm running a little 8K race. And then
what's dope about this one?
That's fire. That's tough.
Oh, that's fire.
I can just switch it up and then rock the orange side. So it says New York on the side right there.
That's
says Forever on the side over there. So yeah, so if you guys can support Gusto NYC on Instagram, on their website, straight up good people. Love the brand, love what they're doing. It's called Gusto NYC, Fritz. Gusto NYC. And they're just great. Like seriously, the quality is ridiculous. Even the packaging they send everything in is top notch. Like, show it to you guys right here. So they send it in an all black like bag that says Gusto NYC, and then inside the bag is this box, and then inside this box, it's got the Gusto NYC like paper. And if it's a shirt, it's in a like big old thick Ziploc. And then it always comes with like keychains, stickers, big old stickers, and then also a thank you note for them, thanking you for supporting their brand. So just high quality stuff. And if I'm going to support something, I want it to be high quality. So, but yeah, boys, we got a lot to talk about since the last time we had our show. Let's start first with what was the last game that we talked about? Let's look.
Hey, my AirPods went out. Can you guys hear me, or is this echoing?
No, I hear you. Sound good.
Yeah, I hear you.
I'm gonna just rock with it and see if this works.
Yeah, it's a little echo, but it's not horrible. So,
okay,
it's not a big deal. But what was the last game we talked about, boys? Last Thursday.
I think we met before the Detroit game. That was the last.
Yep, right before the
Yeah,
Detroit
it
game.
was right
All
before
right.
the Detroit game.
All right. So let's talk about the Detroit game. All right. I'll throw it to you first, Apollo. What did you see in that loss? Like for me, that was a little bit disappointing because what did I say I wanted to like test us was based off of the teams that are best in the East. And so that was one of them. So what was your thoughts? Because that one was a bit hard to accept. We lost 118 to 80. So what was your thoughts on that game?
I mean, it was a game where I think weren't you missing Cat and OG that game?
Yep.
So going into that, I was already like, all right, this is gonna be a rough one. But I kind of feel like when we play this team, we have to expect them to have some kind of animosity towards us based off of how what happened in the playoffs. Every single time you play them is gonna be a playoff game.
Yeah.
So when you don't match that intensity, it doesn't matter about your talent. And I've said it a long time. I've said it for a while. It doesn't matter how good you are when you play against certain teams. Like you have to play like you're not. You know what I mean? You have to play like you're not the best team on the floor right now. You know what I mean? And they don't do a good job at that sometimes. Sometimes they try to use their talent. And of course you were missing OG and Cat, but that's not a reason for a 30 something point loss. You know what I mean? The second time we lost to them by 30 this year. So it was disappointing. And I feel like they feel like they can punk us. And to their credit, they've been doing it this year. But it's regular season. It's regular season. I didn't get super upset. It's just frustrating to see this team that we beat in the playoffs come in and kind of like try to push us around and stuff. So
yeah, I agree. All right, what about you Al? Before I give my thoughts on that game, what were yours?
I didn't get too worked up about it because we were missing Cat and OG, and then Josh got hurt too. I think when he got hurt, the game was still close. But I agree, it does suck that they beat us again by a lot. They are kind of punking us out there on the floor. They're just the more physical team, and we look like the softer team. And I am, even though like the loss didn't bother me, I am very, like last year, I wasn't, everyone going into the playoffs, people were like, Detroit. And I was like, yo, I'm not worried about Detroit. They were too young and inexperienced last year. This year, I'm actually worried about them. Like they got that play. We gave them that experience last year in the playoffs. We put them through, a tough 6-game series, and they're going to come back battle tested. And you can see how they're handling the regular season and how they're handling us. Like they're going to be ready for us. So it's not going to be an easy series when we see them. I think it is imperative for us to get to the 2 seed so we can delay seeing them as long as possible. And maybe some things happen along the way that kind of soften them up for when we finally get to them. Because if we meet them 100%, like health-wise, I think they could take us. I'm legit worried about them. Like they are a scary team.
Yeah. It's funny because I see a lot of people that are like, oh, I'm not scared. Detroit's nothing. The thing that worries me is that Cade Cunningham did not need to have a big game for that to happen. Like, if you look at it, Cade Cunningham, I think, had 12 points maybe that night. Let me confirm before I run the mouth on what I'm thinking happened in that game. Where's it at? Where is that? Can anyone pull up that game? Because I think this is it right here. All right, yeah, right there. So when you look at it, Cade Cunningham had not even 12 points. He had 11 points that night. But they locked us down. That was their thing. Their defense destroyed us. Like, when you look at it, our highest scorer was Mikal Bridges at 19 points, and JB only had 12. Like, he shot horribly and he shot a lot. Like he went 4 for 20. Like they gave him fits that night. Like it was very hard to watch him in that game because he kept putting up shots and they kept contesting it, and they got the upper hand. And honestly, I was afraid to get on Twitter that next morning because I felt like everybody who's had the rhetoric that he's too small to be, the lead guard for the Knicks against teams like the Pistons. I was just like, oh, frick, they're going to have a field day, especially with the fact that Duren wasn't playing. So, the height gave him, a hard time without even having their biggest guy there. Their most aggressive guy in the paint was out. And so if you look, Cade didn't need to have those kind of points because our defense, on the other hand, was not doing anything. After watching so many games where we were talked about on that winning streak, how our defense, after that whole conversation of the players and Mike Brown, how we were locking teams down, and it was like, this is how many teams that the Knicks have kept them under 100 points. And then all of a sudden, they just kept coming. Everybody, Tobias Harris, Isaiah Stewart, both had 15. Duncan had 11. It was just spaced out. Paul Reed had 12. And then friggin' a guy that I didn't even know who he existed, Dance Jenkins, gets 18 on us, and talks about how much fun it was, to play against the Knicks. I don't want no young bucks talking about how fun it is to play the Knicks. Like, that's the last thing that I want to hear, and so their physicality was just a lot for us. I will say, I am excited that we have some additions now that we'll talk about a little later in the game, that can help with that can help with the aggressiveness and can help with, being able to play a little more physical. But, they even kept Mitchell Robinson at bay. In 20 minutes, they only allowed Mitchell Robinson, who is the rebound king of the New York Knicks. They only allowed him to grab 3 rebounds for the whole night, which is crazy because he's known for what kind of rebounds? Offensive,
yeah.
Not defensive, offensive. The only rebounds they allowed him to get were 3 defensive rebounds. He got 0 offensive rebounds all 20 minutes that he was out there. 0 blocks. Like, they really kept Mitchell Robinson from being Mitchell Robinson, which was a little bit hard to watch. And so I think my biggest frustration with that is that we haven't seen them at full health, like at all, in the games that we've played them. And now after Duren and Isaiah Stewart decided to be, Ryu and Ken in Street Fighter the other night against the Hornets, we won't see them as full strength at all. Like the game that we play with them against them after the All-Star break, Duren's suspended. So we won't see Duren in that game either, which means if we see them in the playoffs, it'll be the first time that we see them fully healthy. And so we'll have absolutely no tape from the Knicks against them to see how we fare against them, fully healthy. So that's a little
Stewart too. Stewart will be out that game too.
Yeah, Stewart's out.
How many games? He's 25 games, Stewart, right? How many games?
No,
did
7.
No, 7.
He only got 7 games, Stewart.
Yeah. It was a rumor that he was going to get whole season, and then it was actually only 7. Duren was 2, but one of those 2 is against us. Shout out to everyone in the chat right now. I'll do a real quick roll call. We got Sherwin now in the building. Like I said earlier, my guy Prezi the Boss, Jose G Insight. What up? Appreciate you being in the building. Shout out to the Predicate. He said Detroit's physicality and defensive speed gives us problems, but I think Leon shortened the intensity gap with GTA and Sohan. Yes, Sohan the Crayon. Yeah, I agree. Carbon Intellect, he said, let's get that chip. We're definitely going to be talking about that because things have changed over these last few days. So let's move past the embarrassment that was that game, right? And then we go, what was it? What was right after that? Let's look. So right after that loss,
then it was
then Boston. Then we go against the Celtics. All right. What was your guys' thoughts on that game? Because we did get that W, which was nice to see. And honestly, like it was one of those games that I was really interested to see how we would contend, because I did say that when Vucevic got traded there, it was really going to free up Jaylen Brown on the pick and pop, and Pritchard as well. And his first game with them was incredible. Ours was his second game with them. And we were able to at least keep him to 11. But that was 11 off the bench. So we won that game, and the score was 111 to 89. So we went from getting our teeth kicked in to showing a lot of promise in that game. So Al, I'll throw it to you first.
That game was fun compared to the other game against Detroit. So it's always fun beating up on the Celtics. I really wanted that game. Also, Jose Alvarado's first game with the Knicks. I thought it was a good game, but I thought there were times where you could see his height, being an issue. So, like, you saw Jaylen Brown kind of bodying us a bunch. I think, how much did Jaylen Brown have against us that day?
He had 26.
Yeah, he was kind of cooking us. There's nobody really on our team other than OG that can guard him. Like, he bodies Mikal a lot. And then they were hunting Alvarado and Brunson on switches. So that's what I noticed. I was just, because right now this is the regular season. So a lot of things are going to fly in the regular season, but they won't fly in the postseason. So I'm getting ready for postseason. And so I'm looking out for all these things, like half court defense. How are we hiding people? And so I'm one of those people that's worried about our height. So I've just noticed like how people are attacking our height. And when you just see guys go right to the elbows, like the free throw line extended, and just pull right up, boom.
Yeah.
It's cat. DeMar DeRozan was doing that. Jaylen Brown was doing that. A bunch of players are just, you know who was doing that to us? McConnell. He was doing that to us, cooking us. Like, it's just, that's the thing that worries me about this team in the long run. But as long as we stagger the short guys, the 6'2" and under guys, which should just be Jose and Brunson, then I think we can navigate it. But it was a fun game. I enjoyed that game.
Yeah. What was your thoughts on that one, Apollo?
I mean, it's kind of the same, you know. Brown does try to take advantage of Brunson every single time he has the opportunity. He was bumping Mikal out the way like he wasn't even there. I will give my man Muhammad Diawara credit for coming in and basically like putting a stop to that. You know what I mean? It was kind of crazy how he just came in and it was almost like, all right, well, I've been here and I've done this before, and he just locked him up. And I'm like, okay, well, that's a way to earn minutes, you know what I mean? And earn the respect of your fans and your teammates. I mean, your coaches too. So shout out to him. But yeah, man, it was fun to see us go into TD Garden, the other garden, as we call it. And you know, get a win in their house. Especially by that much. But like you said, Al, it's kind of the same. Like their height is, you know, between Brunson, Alvarado. Now, of course, you gotta play him a lot, just defensively and his intensity. Also with as many minutes as Sham has been getting, these guys they get hunted. Even when we play against the you mentioned the Pacers game, McConnell was getting to the elbows and just pulling up. But what was evident that game is when OG's not there, man, like who defends Siakam? Siakam was just going crazy. He was just killing Josh the entire game. So, you know, that is a problem that we have had. Hopefully, you know, mentioned before, guys like Sokan can help soak up some of that the length that other teams try to throw at us. But you know, but I think it was a good game. It was a good game overall.
Yeah. You know, what I liked about that game is when you're able to see certain players find ways to contribute if it's not their natural way of contributing. Mm-hmm. And this is why I haven't had a ton of complaints as of late with Karl Anthony Towns, because his shot's been off still. Like, he still has to figure out what's going on there. Like, that is pretty broken compared to previous seasons. You know, they showed numbers in this last game that it's either his worst or second worst season, for all of these categories. So that's a little concerning. But in this game, he still found ways to contribute, with his 10 rebounds. And a lot of these games, he's contributing with his rebounds. And so I'm thankful that he's at least figuring that out. I'm also thankful that when he realizes he's off, he's not continuing to chuck shots up. Like we talked in that last game, how Jalen Brunson missed how crazy amount of shots, but it was so many shots, which led to 12 points. But he started to realize in that Boston game that he wasn't shooting well, and so he didn't continue to chuck shots up. And I'm thankful for that, knowing when to say, I don't have it, knowing when to say, like, I want to score, but it's not happening. Like, I'm not contributing to my team by missing all these shots. So I was thankful for that. I was thankful for what I saw in that. Jalen put up 31, which wasn't bad, 8 assists, was thankful for that. But I agree with you. Mohamed Diawara is just continuing to show that he's here for the keeping. Like, this kid continues to develop and put up numbers, and he's earning his minutes. Like, he's pretty much saying, bring in who you want. I'm not going anywhere. Like, that's what he continues to show. And there's a reason that out of all the rookies, he's the one that's continuing to get the minutes, because he's showing that his minutes out there are not only confident, but they're efficient. And I think that you need both of those. And to Sherwin's point, with bringing up all of these, new players that we've signed and everything like that, some of our young guys should go and get some burn in the G League, So if they're not going to get actual substantial minutes in the regular games, having them at least develop more in the G League so that if we do need them at those crucial times, they're at least getting some shine that they've been practicing, they've been working on their game and everything like that. So finding a way to do that. But I thought it was key. I think, like I said, we were able to do something that, I was very happy that we did, which was keep Peyton Pritchard at bay. That kid can go off at times. Sometimes you look and you're like, wait a minute, Peyton Pritchard has 26 points. And you're just like, what the heck? We were so worried about everybody else. We were worried about Jaylen Brown. We were worried about Derek White. And now this kid is putting up 26, 29. But we kept him to 6 points. He was a negative 27 for that whole game. And that's 30 minutes of play, 6 points. So we did really well in certain areas like that. Jaylen Brown's going to be Jaylen Brown, 26 points that game. But even Derek White, 19 points. But the rest of the guys, we pretty much kept at bay. So I was very happy to see that. I felt like that was a promising game for the Knicks.
That was the game that Mo Diawara got the boots, right? Defensive player of the game.
Yep. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes.
He did He made Jaylen Brown's life hell. I really enjoyed watching that. That was probably the highlight of the game for me.
Locked him up.
Seeing his growth, man. Like, this guy's gonna be a player for us, yo. He's the guy that I'm most excited about. Yeah. Like, out of the young guys, I'm the most excited about Diawara.
He had the highest plus minus. He was a plus 22.
He's hitting the 3 now too.
He's hitting the 3. He's 20 years old. The kid is 20 years old, man.
Yep.
Goodness.
The ceiling's crazy.
They got to pick him for the Rising Stars. He might have a chance. Did they announce who they picked?
They hate it. They probably hate it. I don't know.
I don't know if he played enough games early enough to get chosen for that.
There's 2 people out, so they're saying there's an opening. We'll see.
We'll see what happens. He's a Knick, he's got to force himself into things being a Knick, so we'll see about that. But this is another thing that I'm just like, dang it, because there's still rumors of Tatum now getting some burn in the G League for a possible return. And that's what I'm just like, come on. We are never going to see one of these teams at full health before the playoffs. Like, none of the teams in the East are we going to see at full health before we would have to see them in the playoffs. And that's just like so freaking frustrating. But it is what it is. That's just the luck of the Knicks.
But if you know Achilles injuries, like, he's not going to come back just all of a sudden picking up right where he left off. He's going to have a little bit of a curve to get his legs back under him, man. So I don't think we'll see
Speaking from experience, I really hope he takes it easy, bro. Because it's not nothing. I'm still I'm still recovering. I'm about 2 months out before I can even touch a basketball. So,
And I agree, though. Like, here's the thing. 2 things to look at. Apollo's got Apollo, helping him get back fit.
yeah,
He's got a full-on NBA staff that are
$1 million.
putting all their money into making sure that this guy can come back and be efficient, in some way, shape, or form. Second, Jason Tatum can come back at 60% and still be a factor for the team. Because we all thought that without Jason Tatum, this team was going to be, kind of like what Indiana's facing. Like, Jalen's great, but no one else is going to be able to get the reins. They traded Drew Holiday. They traded Porzingis. It's going to be a shell of a team. And they're neck and neck with us this whole time without Jason Tatum and without a center that really could help them. And now they made that trade for Vucevic, and he's playing really, really well with them. And then you add Tatum into it. Okay, now you're adding pieces. You're adding things that can make it a little bit harder for the New York Knicks. I still think we can, take them in 7 right now, but like not knowing what they will look like with Jason Tatum until possibly seeing them in the playoffs. That's the frustrating part is like, crap, now we got to put attention elsewhere besides what we were already doing. But before we go and talk about the next game and some of the news, let's break out the first sample. All right. And this is going to be the flagship. All right. So this is the one that you will most likely find on all shelves. Shout out to Lee Escobedo in the chat. Shout out to Saduberry. I think that's right. Shout out to my guy, Daniel. Appreciate you guys so much for being here. So yeah, once again, this is Westland Distillery and, just good stuff. Oh, let me share something with you guys real quick before we do that. Because you guys were talking about the other garden and I'm like, nah, bro, there ain't no other garden. Hold up. Let's see. Allow Google to share, use password 012013. So there's a brand. Oh, crap. Let's see if it lets me do it now. There's a brand. Yeah.
Which one am I picking up with?
It says flagship on it.
I was looking for that part. Don't see it. Okay.
You should have 4.
Yeah, I have 4. These are the 2 that I can't tell which one is flagship though.
It should be the one that is 92 proof.
92 proof. Okay.
Got it?
This one's 100. Yeah, this one's 100.
All right, bet. Let me share this link with y'all. So there's a brand that I really like, and I'll put the link in there. But they made a shirt to say that there's only 2 gardens that exist that are worthy of your time, and I love it. So it
I already
said,
know what you're gonna do.
God made
I knew
Eden,
it.
New York made the garden.
I knew it.
He was like, these are the only 2 gardens that should matter. And I was like, yo, thanks. So I should be wearing that one very, very soon. But that joke was hilarious when I saw that shirt. So I just put that link in there. But yeah, so this is the first one that we will sample. Like I said, this brand is very unique, very true to their area, all single malts. This one's got a really nice color on it. 92 proof, so it's light compared to a lot of stuff that we drink on the show. It's light, so we'll see how it is. Nice. What happened?
Smells nice.
Smells nice.
Really nice. Yeah, really nice.
Poured too heavy of a sample on all that. All right, there we go. So let's see. It smells very nice, like very, very nice.
Yeah,
like a dessert. Definitely fruity as can be on the nose.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm getting like a cherry cola flavor. Strong cherry cola. Wow.
I was thinking of some kind of berry.
Ooh.
Man, that's damn good for a flagship, for just like something that you could pick up on the shelf right now.
Yeah.
I'm very impressed.
Yeah. I like it because it's got like a light smokiness with the spice. But it's got a lot of sweet notes, like citrusy notes, tea notes. Yeah, that's delicious. For how low the proof is, this is really, really good.
Yeah, a lot of flavor.
Yeah.
The only thing that I would say about it, and for some people this is good, I feel like on the finish, some of the sweet notes end a lot quicker than the warming notes, and I would like them to balance each other out a little bit longer. But that would be my only critique about this pour. Like, it's a good, this is a good sipper, not something that you're just like, oh my gosh, this is so, full of diverse, flavor profiles, but the flavors that are there pair really well together. So I like that.
I'm with you on the finish. The finish is a little shorter, on the shorter side. And I guess that's a given, right? With the 92 proof.
92 proof.
Yeah.
But
I like it. Yeah, very good.
Very good.
That's a good one. All right, cool. So let's see. Like I said, if you guys are in the chat, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Allow everybody to know that we are live right now. Allow everybody to know that they can come and hang out with the Knicks Nightcap on tonight's episode. I know a lot of people are nicked out. There's been so much going on that it's kind of crazy. There's been shows nonstop, Twitter Spaces nonstop every time there's news. So we appreciate you guys still rocking with us. But yeah, so the Boston game was cool. But the two games that I really, really want to spend the most time on is the Indiana Pacer game and then last night's game against the 76ers. So Indiana, 137-134. Man, that kind of drove me nuts. The fact that Indiana is still a thorn in our freaking side, and they don't have Tyrese Halliburton, they don't have Miles Turner, and some of the guys on their team, I had no clue they existed in the NBA till this season, where it was like, oh, this guy never got any shine on any other team. Now he's playing for the Pacers, and he's doing well. And I'm like, why is he doing well against the Knicks? Like, I've never even heard of most of these guys. But then you have guys that we should know better, than giving a good game like Nembhard. Like, come on. Like, how do we let him destroy us in the playoffs and then continue to beat us, like, in game after game after game? It was like him and Siakam were just too much for the New York Knicks once again, and it was just frustrating to watch. So I'll throw it to you first, Al. What is something that you saw in that game that really either struck a nerve with you, frustrated you, or you were just like, I just don't understand this. Like, why does this happen?
Oh, that's the Jalen Brunson hero game. He reverted back to being that hero ball style. It just, if you look at the stat line, if somebody didn't watch the game and they're just box score watching, they're gonna be like, Jalen Brunson killed. But if you, and I think he had 8 assists too, so it looks like he was distributing too, but not the case, especially down the stretch. Icing his teammates out, it really, I think, hurt the team. There's a stat out there that Tommy Beer put out. He said the Knicks are 19-3 when Jalen Brunson has 20 or fewer field goal attempts. The Knicks are 14-13 this season when Brunson has more than 20 field goal attempts. So 19-3 when he shoots less than 20 times, and 14-13, basically 500 when he shoots more than 20. So that's crazy.
Wait a minute, hold on. That's crazy. You want to share that stat one more time, because that was bookmarked for tonight.
Yeah, I definitely
19-3
heard that.
Jalen Brunson.
Sorry, I saw you send it. My bad. Yeah.
Your field goal.
I mean, it's a telling stat, dude. And then the crazy thing is what happened last night against the Sixers.
6 shots.
He didn't shoot. He had like 6 shots and we smoked them. So it's like, man, you can't run from these from these stats. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't, man. So
Mhm.
it's crazy. That's what stood out to me a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, the other thing that stood out was just obviously, we can't stop Siakam. We don't have big enough defenders for Siakam. McCollum was shooting right over Alvarado and stuff like that. Like, I just noticed the height again against Indiana.
Yeah. All right. What about you, Apollo? What stood out to you?
I mean, pretty much the same, man. It's one thing I noticed about this Pacer team is the problem was never Tyrese Halliburton. We always thought that Tyrese Halliburton was the issue. He was just the icing on the cake.
Yeah.
Honestly, we never had anybody to guard Siakam, and we don't have anybody to guard Nembhard. And unfortunately, they cook us every single time. You put Brunson on Nembhard, and he cooks him every single time. He was cooking him. He was cooking Shamit. He was cooking Alvarado. It didn't matter who you put on him. We don't really have a guy. I mean, maybe so can now. Maybe we put him out there to be a pest for those taller guys. But man, whoever has Brunson on them is just gonna, attack them. We see it game to game. You saw it with the Celtic game. But it's more the same, man. I've always felt like it's the other guys. It was always the TJ McConnells. It was always the Nembhards. It was always the Siakams that gave us fits, because a lot of times we were shutting down Halliburton until the end of the game and he hit some crazy shot. You know what I mean? So, we have difficulty with these teams due to a lot of times our size. We keep falling back on the same point. So I think that's why these guys are trying to use more of Diawara and making sure that he gets the runs that he's supposed to have, and in order for us to have a bigger lineup, because it's for a while it was just Brunson, Clarkson, and Tyler Kolek getting a lot of minutes. And who are they stopping?
He had a lineup out there with Brunson, Alvarado, and Clarkson out there at one time, and I was just losing. I was losing it. I was like, dear God. They actually didn't do too bad, but he yanked them pretty quickly. But they can't; those guys cannot be on the floor together at the same time.
At the same time. It gotta be one. If there's two of them, like, it has to be during a run or something, and then you gotta pull them after that. Like, it can't be a consistent, because they're gonna just start hunting them. It's just gonna hunt him. And the thing about Clarkson is not even his size half the time. It's just he doesn't make the right decisions defensively. He puts himself in the wrong places, and he tries. That's the thing about Clarkson. Like, you never can say that he doesn't try, because he tries. It's just like, well, what are you trying to do there? Sometimes, you know what I mean? But yeah.
What stood out to me, one of the most frustrating things was, okay, we're lacking Mitchell Robinson in this game. Who was a player that was able to contribute on both ends of the court really well the night before? Mohamed Diawara.
Mhm.
Why is Mohamed Diawara getting 18 minutes and only 2 shots? This is how you know that it was a, and I hate to say it, because, Brunson, like you said, you look at the numbers and you're like, oh, all-star Brunson numbers, killing it. It's like, yeah, but there was a lot of selfishness in that game. Like, a lot of selfishness when there needed to be moments of selflessness. And so you look at why Diawara had 2 shots, because the ball wasn't moving to him when it should have been. Like, we're struggling in certain areas. You saw that this guy can produce. Why is he not getting his opportunities now? Why is he all of a sudden limited to 2 shots in 18 and a half minutes? That shouldn't be the case, And so for me, that was really frustrating. I was excited to at least see that Mikal Bridges, was aggressive that game. 6 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, a block, 22 points. That was a good game. Those are the kind of numbers that you want to see from Mikal Bridges night in and night out. 18 to 24, rebounds, assists, blocks, steals, etc. So that was a good game for him. With Karl Anthony Towns, after Jalen Brunson, I want to read these numbers for the people that might think that we're just hating on JB. We're not at all. Okay. But this is too close of a game to start making it about yourself. So in the last 2 quarters, JB took 15 shots and made 5 of them. So he was missing a lot of clutch shots. I understand you're like, oh, but when he makes them, yes. But at a certain point in time, you have to not just be captain clutch. You need to be captain of the team and figure out what is best for the team. Is it for me to continue when I realize that my shots are off? And it wasn't like they were just off by a little bit. Like Clyde was talking about how each and every one of those shots were so short, hitting the front of the rim. And you can hear the clink every single time. Like it was loud as can be in your living room because it wasn't a good shot. Like his shots were just falling short, yet he continued to chuck them up. So when you're going 5 for 15, in the third and fourth, that's an issue. When you're going 4 for 14 from 3, that's an issue. You got to, as the captain, pivot when you see that it's not working. And so luckily for us, Karl-Anthony Towns comes in clutch on one of his botched shots. He gets the rebound, goes up for the shot, gets fouled, hits 2 clutch threes.
Clutch.
2 clutch free throws. Yes. Thank you so much, Kat. But then it's one of those things of you give and you take away. What happens as soon as we get into, OT? Instantly gets fouled out, by hip check. Like, come on. Now we have one less opportunity for someone that demands defense, that demands defensive attention. He's now on the bench. We don't have Mitchell Robinson. So we now have to go with Huck Porty to try and round out this game. And that's not your guy that you want to close in on, like you don't like Huck Porty got, like how many, like, I don't even know if he scored or anything that whole game. And so it's one of those things that like our teammates did not put us. Yeah, he had 7 points that in 20 minutes. But like, that's not the kind of situation you want to put your teammates in, both from JB and both from Cat. So it's like those two guys, when they're on and they're selfless, man, they are what we need. When they don't think and they're selfish, man, they are our own like worst enemy. Like they seriously can put us in the hole. And I feel like that's what they did in the second half there, which was a bit frustrating to watch.
That's comes down to coaching, man. Like that stuff to me, like falls on Mike Brown.
But how? Like, but besides, like, obviously, like disciplining them in practice and saying, yo, that was stupid, why are you doing that? But like in those minutes, what can you do?
He can't, he can't do anything, but
we don't
like
have
just
Miles
managing the game with like timeouts, play calling, like calling other guys' numbers, like telling guys straight up, like, yo, like JB, like you doing a little too much right now, like in front of his dad. Like I don't know if he does that, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
it's hard.
My thing with JB is, and like I said, I'm usually the guy who's like, listen, who else do we got? You know what I mean? But my thing with that is, if that's the case, then cool, let everybody else touch the ball before you get it. You know what I mean? Like bring the ball up the court quick, get everybody touching the ball, and if by 10 seconds these guys haven't figured it out, boom,
go ahead,
make your move. You know what I mean? But when you do it for 24 seconds and then it ends up in a turnover or a missed shot because you gave a guy the ball with 2 seconds left, you know what I mean? It's frustrating. It's frustrating. And I'm a big JV supporter. Wore the jersey to the game. You know what I mean? So I'm a big JV supporter, but you gotta spread the pill a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. And that's the thing is like you can love the player and still be honest about what you're seeing, and be disappointed in what you're seeing there. And that was one of those games for me. I was just like, all right, he's got to be better, and I'm done with the press conferences of hearing, got to be better. Like, we know you're going to say that in the press conference.
He says all the right things.
Yeah, show us in those minutes that you're better. But real quick, I want to do a little run that back. All right. This isn't a good run that back. I mean, a bad run that back. It's a good run that back. All right. So this is my run that back tweet. I saw this and this is one thing I've been saying for a long time, and I'm glad that people understand my heart. Why are these jerseys not in existence anymore? Like, that's one of my favorite. What?
You sure you can't buy that right now online
Nah, bro. You got to find the old ones.
That's tough.
Ooh, those
that's hard. With the Nikes. Ooh,
Nike,
that's hard.
fire. That's fire.
Those were one of my favorite like city editions, and I actually wanted to buy the Obi Toppin one, and it sold out. And I was like, oh, I'll wait till they replenish, and then it never got replenished.
They never replenished them.
And so this to me, like I love the new cream one that they released. You know, it looks cool. But this one to me is one of the hardest jerseys I've seen since the old black and orange, you know, jerseys from the Allen Houston days. This to me is the hardest one that has come out in the last like 10, 15 years.
10,
so
15, yeah.
I wish they would bring this one back. I would seriously buy that in every single player that we have, because that jersey is just so hard. Like even that.
I actually have a crazy run that back moment. I sent it to you in the private chat. Did you see? Let me see. Did you see in the Houston game versus the Clippers when the guy rolled the ball in, and then he rolled it to his teammate. His teammate didn't catch it. He ended up being. They were like, and he's like, "No, you just take it." And he grabs it. The guy that rolled it in, and then the ref calls it.
Let's just watch it. Let's just
watch it. Watch it. It's insane.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'm watching it.
Let's just watch it. Here we go. All right. Boom. Zoom out a little bit. There we go.
As he goes up for that hook shot, but he's got.
So he just rolls it to him, and then he's like, "Yo, get it." And he picks it up, and then the ref obviously blows the whistle. The best part is he argues with the ref. He's like, "Bro, what are you talking about, ref?" I'm like, "Bro, you just rolled it to yourself, man."
Chris Dunn is wilding for that.
Who is the guy that's telling him to get it?
Chris Dunn. He's bugging. He lost his mind. I don't know if he was high or something, but what were you thinking, bro?
The best part is when he argues with the ref at the end. Like, bro, why are you arguing with the ref?
I don't understand. He's directing him to do it.
That's like who did he think threw the ball in?
I
think because he started out of bounds.
These guys play in the NBA, yo. These guys play in the NBA. It's insane.
What were you thinking, dude?
You know what's crazy and frustrating? Like, I'm doing everything I can not to look at how much money they make per game after watching that, because it's going to make me pissed off to know that they got paid that kind of money to look like freaking Barnum and Bailey's circus of the NBA.
Barnum and Bailey.
Ridiculous.
No, seriously, it's idiotic, man. I'm sorry.
That's when you had to run back. I was like,
he's the veteran. Chris Dunn is the vet. That's the sad part. He's the vet,
and he's yelling at Young Buck like, "What are you doing? Like, why don't you know what to do here?" Like, oh my God. And he stepped over the ball. Yeah,
they argue with the ref. What did I do? Ref? I can't do that.
I can't do that. No, you can't.
Which is crazy because he's trying to tell Chris Dunn that he can't do that, and then he looks at the ref like, "Wait, I can't do that." Like, you just told your teammate you can't do that. Why are you confused? I think his teammate. I think Dunn really confused the crap out of him. Like, made him.
He was like, "Oh, I can pick it up." He was like, "I guess I ain't got no choice."
That's crazy. That's nuts. All right, that is a winner. I like that one. Good call. Appreciate you for that one. All right, cool. Let's go into this next pour. We're going to do the beer cask finish.
Oh.
All right. That's right there. And this one is also 92 proof. So all of the cask exploration, the next two, those are both 92 proof as well. So low proofs compared to
apprehensive about this one.
All four?
Why?
I don't know. I kind of don't get it. I can see like the porter, like something that's looked like a stout, darker, but this sounds like what kind of beer was it finished in? Do you know?
I don't know. Let's see.
It smells right.
So let's see.
Like
all right, so it's a malted barley spirit finished in beer barrels, drawn from a variety of Pacific Northwest breweries, including stout, Scotch ale, brown
Okay.
ale, Saosin, and Doppelbock barrels. I don't even know what a Doppelbock
Okay,
is.
those are all like darker beers, so that makes
Okay.
sense. Because I'm like thinking like you got this in a Budweiser type beer barrel. I don't know
Nah,
how
bro.
it's gonna taste.
You think I'm gonna mess with a brand that uses a Budweiser or Miller Lite type? Get out of here. All right. So, real quick, they said that we sought out to create an American single malt that is undeniably of a place that we meant every word. Make what works here and respect the area that we call home. So they're very proud of their area. They have an ongoing obsession with flavor and are proud to think about whiskey differently. They've drawn inspiration from surrounding and exclusive brewers, Saosin yeast, to pay homage to Washington's strong brewing culture, which makes a lot of sense. You know, if you've ever been out to Seattle, they have a very big, beer and brewing culture, while also adding aromatics and citrus tones during the fermentation process. So they kind of say that, they kind of do it, they roast the grains. So kind of like you would with roasted coffee beans and stuff like that. So it sacrifices in the amount of whiskey that is yielded at the end that can actually go into bottles. But it actually like reinforces and gives even bigger flavor obsession profiles. So let's give this one a go. Ooh, that smells chocolatey.
Phil, do you know if they make their own juice or are they getting it from like a MGB or something like that?
Let me see. I believe it's their own. Let me find out. Westland Distillery.
It's funny because you don't really taste the beer until it was like the very end of it.
Yeah, it's distilled at their facility in Seattle.
Okay.
It's produced, distilled, and matured in the United States in their Seattle distillery.
That's awesome.
This is different. This is really different.
Smells delicious. All right, let's give this a pour.
That chocolate's got to be coming from the stout beers. Those usually have a little chocolate influence in them.
Oh, you get that beer on the finish for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, you definitely get that on that finish. It actually, I'm not gonna lie,
It's not bad.
If it wasn't for the fact that it lacks carbonation, like you could pour this for me and say that it's a beer, and I could believe you. Like I really could.
Right, especially because of the finish.
Yeah. It's definitely creamy. Like it's thick. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I like it.
I like the other one better. The first one,
Yeah.
I still got ahead.
I like this one. It reminds me of like a blending of like beer and tea. Like an afternoon tea and a beer. You're having both at lunch, and you accidentally sip both at the same time. That's what this tastes like.
Yeah.
I like it though. I think this would be really, really good in like a cocktail, like an old fashioned, to get some different kind of notes in there, mix it with like the orange or Peychaud's bitters. I think it could be really good, but I like it.
Give me a little bit.
I definitely like the other one better, but this one's still really good.
Mm-hmm.
I like the chocolate and brown sugar though that I get on this. The more I sip it, the more chocolate I get. It is
It's a dark chocolate for me. Yeah.
So the more I drink it, the more chocolatey it tastes to me. So I'm good with it.
Speaking of chocolate, I went out to try to do some Valentine's Day shopping today, and I went to get some chocolate. Dear God, chocolate is expensive now. What the heck? I don't even know the name of this place. It starts with an L. Some Swiss. It's like a Godiva, I guess. But
Oh,
One of those fancy ones.
They also hike their prices up this time of year anyway. So
Ladder rack. I don't know how to say it.
I'm trying to remember. Yeah. LADERCACH or something like that.
Yeah. Dear
Yeah.
God, the chocolate's expensive. Holy crap. I was
Right?
like, what the hell?
Yeah, it's crazy. And it's funny because it's like back in the day, it used to be like, oh, it's not going to be the gift. It's just going to be like the add-on to the gift.
Exactly.
And now you're just like, good gosh.
Even
I
an
got it.
add-on?
I was like, this might just be their gift.
Yeah.
Right? And I want some. I want to taste these chocolates.
Right.
And it's so dang expensive.
He's like, do I buy her this chocolate bar or an extra diamond in that necklace? You know, it's like, right.
Exactly. Expensive behind chocolate.
For real. Shout out right there. Northside Nabil. What up, Nabil? How's it going, bro? Good to see you in the chat. All right, guys. So let's talk. Before we talk about the Detroit game, let's talk about Leon Rose. All right. There is a lot of confusion, speculation, conversation. We even had, conversation, that if Leon Rose does not do something by the trade deadline, answers need to come, because anyone who does not try to move on from the fact that you made a huge mistake bringing in Yabusele to the Knicks, deserves a consequence, like if you don't try to get us off of this. And for a while, it looked like homeboy was sleeping. But then we talked about it. We saw him get up in that game, start making calls. We found out that, he was able to get Yabusele to get off of his player option for that $5 million because teams didn't want that. And yeah, I give Leon Rose credit for that, but I also, it was a lot Yabu too. Like he said, he straight up wanted to be in the NBA. Like he was getting, talks and approached by the EuroLeague, but he wanted to be here, so if he realized that the only way that he was going to stay here was to get the player option taken off, he was going to take it. But then we make that trade for Terry. Everyone goes nuts. Like, oh, we got Terry. Da, da, da. I'm like, all right, we're throwing a parade for a guy that like didn't get minutes, in Chicago, but all right, cool. But then he does what we need him to do, and he gets the Pelicans to make that trade, and we get Jose Alvarado. But if that wasn't enough, he then saved us some money, and another player that he tried to get in a Yabusele trade gets released from the Spurs. And we find out today that Jason Sochan, or Sohan, however you say it, is now a New York Knick. So you got to give it to Leon Rose. He not only was able to get Yabu off of the Knicks, but got us Alvarado and Sohan to now be on our roster. And that seriously helps us in the end. Now we got the two players that we really, really wanted in that final, few days of the trade deadline. And now they're both Knicks, and Yabusele is off the team. And I want to give a shout out to Yabu because Yabu was playing way better over there than he did for us. Like it was a win-win situation. He's now averaging almost 11 points per game, 4 rebounds, 1.5 assists, 1 steal, and making about 2.5 3-pointers a game. All right, cool. It's good to see that he, he is actually doing well. He's playing 26 minutes per game, shooting about 41.7% from 3 as a Chicago Bull. So it was a win-win for us. So what do you guys think about what Leon Rose was able to pull off? And do you think that these changes help us where we were questioning if we were fully contenders or not in the Eastern Conference? I'll go for you first, Apollo.
I think he made some really good moves with what he had. All he had was Yabusele, really. Yep. You know what I mean? And he flipped it into 2 players. And shout out to everybody involved. I know Brock Eiler probably had something to do with that as well. But shout out to Leon for staying on the phones with these guys and making something happen, because like you said, we were like, we might have to get the pitchforks out if he doesn't make a move. And you know, we knew that the Giannis thing probably wasn't gonna happen. It was kind of a little bit you know, of a star move, like, you know, literally looking for the stars. But the Yabusele move, I feel like we all knew was coming. So for him to be able to flip it for Alvarado and still be patient and stay in the line, stay on the phones with uh Jeremy and being able to pick him up, I think that was a really, really great move. Do I think that it pushes us towards or being a better player or making us a better team? I mean, being a better team in the towards the playoffs? Absolutely, absolutely. I think you add a guy like especially with Alvarado, you can see his impact in what 3 games already. Just being able to impact the game on both sides of the floor, get the crowd involved. Last night in Philadelphia, it felt like it was a home game sometimes.
Yep.
Just because of what he was doing out there, you know what I mean, getting the bench guys going, and it's just, I think those are the kind of moves that you have to make because of their energy guys. It's more like Josh Hart kind of moves, you know, and those are the moves that you have to continue to make, build guys up, low contract value, but big impact, and especially for their role, you know. Yeah, Jeremy Sokan. Hey, guys are like, you can have him. He's trash and da 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 da. I'm like, bro, we're not asking him to be a starter. We're not asking him to be the point forward. We literally just need you to come here and play a role. He understands that, I'm sure, at this point. And same thing with Alvarado. These guys are understanding that they're here to play a role and they're willing to run their heads into the wall for that. So great moves, great timing, and hopefully it amounts to something really big come playoff time.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, Al?
A lot of the same. You know, Leon Rose turned nothing into something. I was very surprised that he was able to get Alvarado for basically nothing, and just being patient and not trading for Sokan and waiting, being like, I know this guy's gonna get bought out. Like, he's got to have his ear to the street. That obviously shows you he has relationships and he knows like this is about to go down. So it's important to have people like that in the front office, right? That the GM position is all about relationships. So like sometimes you might see a trade that's a little bit of a head scratcher. It could just be like somebody being like, yo, I got you on this one, like get me on the next one kind of deal. Because this is relationships based. It really is. So he was able to do that, and it's good to see that we have somebody that's connected. Because like when somebody like Phil Jackson was running the show, like I don't think anyone was like sharing anything with him, and they were just doing him dirty left and right. Same thing with Steve Mills, like nobody was really sharing anything with him. So it's good to see. I was concerned when he got Alvarado because he made our team smaller, and I was like, wait, hold on. Does this guy not realize that we're the shortest team in the NBA? And then now he got so canceled. Now I'm realizing, I'm like, okay, maybe he does realize that we are short and he's bringing this guy in. But I have a little bit of a hot take on the SoCan thing if you let me.
Do what you do, bro. I'm not the gatekeeper.
I think I'm happy that we got SoCan because he's 6'8", but if you look at his numbers, he's a non-shooter. He shoots 27% from the 3-point line or something like that. I think, and he's like a point guard prototype or archetype or whatever, right? Like point forward. I think that this is a way for the Knicks to start building chemistry with a super, super light Giannis archetype player. And what I mean by that is like a non-shooter that's tall, that's also like a point forward. That's what I mean by super light Giannis archetype, because he doesn't attack the rim like Giannis. But I think the fact that he's a non-shooter and he's tall and he's a ball handler helps the Knicks start to figure out, like, if and when we do get Giannis, what are some ways that he can easily get plugged in? And so SoCan kind of lets them start to tinkle with that and start to figure that out. That's my like off the wall take on SoCan.
The light experiment, I see.
Yeah.
It could be. I think, luckily you came to the light and out of ignorance on the Jose Alvarado thing. We'll talk about that in a minute when we talk about Detroit. I think, though, what people need to realize about these moves is that they're chess-like moves, okay? Jose Alvarado already proved his worth in that 76ers game. Like,
Yeah.
already proved his worth. I'm not even talking about his stats, but when Mitchell Robinson was fouled hard by Watford and Watford stood over him, who came? The first person to start a scuffle?
The smallest man on the court.
None of our guys were going to do that. None of our roster is.
None of our guys have done that all year, yo. And this here comes Alvarado. He finally steps up. Like, we need that type of. I don't care if he's 5'8" and he wants to be the enforcer. Be the enforcer. We need an enforcer. We need someone that's going to do that. That stuff's important, man.
And Jeremy's the same. Jeremy's the same way too.
Exactly. So the thing is Alvarado's not afraid of anything. If you look at most of the guys that he's fought, they're double his size, and he's always the one that lands the punch. They all try. He ducks and dodges like freaking Apollo Creed, and yet he's the one that's laying the punches. Like, he's the one that's landing them. And now you bring in Sochan, or how do I say it?
We'll find out.
We'll figure it out. Anyway, you bring him in. He is another guy who is known for that. But he's also another guy that is defensively great at what he does, and he frustrates. He frustrates the crap out of his players. You can go and look for highlight reels of how many people he frustrated just in his rookie season. And you see all of them. You see Russell Westbrook. You see LeBron. You see all these guys that he gets under their skin and he frustrates them and causes them to then get in foul trouble because they're so frustrated by what he does.
Every championship team has a player like that on their team.
Exactly.
Every championship team.
Exactly. So you look at like a Dylan Brooks, like as much as he's annoying, he's going to get under your skin and he's going to ruffle the feathers of your best player to make him less productive. Now we have that guy. We have Alvarado, which now we have two guys that do not back down from anything. Who do we think is going to be our biggest challenge that we're going to have to see in the playoffs to make it? The Pistons. Who do they have that are unafraid? Pretty much everybody. So you got Isaiah Stewart, you got Duren, you got a few other guys that are willing to be in the center of it all. We didn't have anybody. We didn't have anybody that would do that. Once we traded Julius Randle, we didn't really have anyone that was going to be that guy once Dante was gone. Now you have two guys that are going to stick up for their teammates, and they're going to make things annoying and frustrating. And here's the thing that we can do. On a vet minimum, it wasn't that Jason wasn't a good player anymore. It's that the direction of the Spurs has completely changed ever since they signed Victor Wembanyama. The whole direction of that team has changed. How they play, everything. Okay? And so most of their guys are scorers and defenders. They're not solely elite at one thing. They're good at both, So a guy like him, now the Knicks can revive him and boost his worth on a vet minimum that is over in the summer. You get this guy in for some crucial minutes to show the NBA again what he is worth. And now you got him for nothing. And you can either re-sign him and then trade him or just let him go if it doesn't work out, And so I think that it's chess moves with them, Jose Alvarado, going to be a great player for us. You saw what he can do defensively last night. And if he works out, we keep him. He's not a guy that's looking to be a starter. He's not a guy that's looking to be the number one option anywhere like McBride is, So if McBride walks, we're okay. We have somebody now. You see the camaraderie he already has with the guys. Like him and Josh picked up like they were just the other day in New Orleans, And
if he get that three.
Yep.
One part I wanted to bring up. I was looking earlier. Deej, shout out to Deej. He actually reposted something from Stat Defender. It says Jeremy Sokan, however, like you said, however you say his name.
Yep.
Career defensive field goal percentage versus all-star caliber players. So first is Paolo Banchero's 25%, Scotty Barnes 25%, Julius Randle 28.6%, Tyrese Halliburton 31.3%, LaMelo Ball 33.3%, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander 34.3%, and it's Jalen Green, LeBron, Jordan Poole, Sengun, Kyrie Irving, Anthony Edwards, Jalen Brunson, Damian Lillard. It's the guy is a stud defensively. So I think that's what we're going to be seeing a lot out of him. Of course, we're going to work on his 3-point shot. I'm sure he's been working on that himself as well. But defensively, we picked up a gem that is he's a workhorse on that side of the floor, and he's been doing it. Doesn't matter who's in front of him. So we got one of those guys.
Yeah. And like I said, there's little risk. Everything is a possible reward with this guy. It's kind of a blessing that the Spurs said no about trading him for Yabu, because they ended up not getting anything for him. And now he's ours for a fraction of the cost. And like Mill said, they heard what we wanted. We said we had no dogs, that can hold their own. And now we have two. Like, we have two guys that are not willing to back down from anything. And if you look at this highlight, he can.
Is he still dyeing his hair?
I don't know, but hopefully he goes, blue
I want him to go full crazy with the Knicks, man.
I want him straight blue and orange.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that'd be fire.
That'd be crazy. Half blue, half orange. Like, come on. Let's do
And Knicks,
that'd be sick. He got to do that.
Knicks fans, be easy with him. It's going to take a while for his shot to come around, and I know we're going to be calling for his head when he misses a couple threes. It's going to happen.
Yeah, I know he's not a shooter, so I don't really care. I also figured out the pronunciation of his name. It's Soshan.
Soshan.
Yeah, Soshan.
All right.
You were saying it wrong. Sorry.
Still more.
Well, I can't wait to see. I can't wait to hear how Clyde is going to botch that.
Yeah.
Oh man, look at this though. Like, this guy sticks with his player, which that's one thing that even our Wingstop guys, they have a hard time always staying in front of who they're defending. So you get a guy like this that can stay in front of his man. That's going to be great to watch. Like, really, really great to watch. So I'm ecstatic for it. I love the signing. I'm hoping that he comes and starts immediately. So that would be great. All right, guys, let's go to that next pour before we talk about the Pistons game. And then
you mean the Sixers?
The Sixers game. Yeah. Sixers game. All right. So we're going to do this wine cask. I was excited for this one because my wife loves wine. And so anytime you get a good wine cask, it's a good one. I don't know if this is a good one yet. I'm about to find out. So let's see if I can find some information on this specific wine release. So this one right here says that it is finished in Cabernet, Sauvignon, Syrah, Merlot, Red Blend, Tempranillo wine barrel. So it's supposed to be a distinctive fruit-driven flavor palette that is with layered character. So
yeah, because that was like 5 different wines that you mentioned.
Yep.
So they must have passed it through a bunch of different wine barrels.
Yep. Or like a lot of times, certain wine barrels will additionally age in another barrel, kind of like they do with, like whiskey, like this Sauvignon, whatever, was also aged in this, and then you get that barrel that had the other ones age in them before. So we'll see.
You can smell the wine on this for sure.
You sure do. Like, it's straight up what you smell first.
Yeah. It really is.
This one, I got one of those tasting notes that you had mentioned last week. Phil,
what you got?
Raisinets.
All right. Oh yeah, you get that malt at the end. Wow, holy cow, that is a lot of malt at the end. because the maltiness is that chocolatiness. That chocolatiness you get is from it being a malted light whiskey. So I mean single malt. Yeah, that chocolate at the end is crazy.
That's good. That's really good. And it's smooth, it doesn't bite. It's all 92 proof, so
yep. Wow.
I'm definitely getting raisin.
Yeah.
The raisin, that's for sure.
Yeah. So what I'm getting is my wife had a dessert with some strawberries that you put some of that sugar on so that the sugar melts on the strawberry. I'm getting like that mixed in with the barley, like strawberry notes with the chocolate and the wine. That's a delicious dessert pour. Like that's really good.
This is really good.
The only thing I'd say about this one again is like the finish. It's just I wish it was a little bit longer.
Yeah. I think all of them have been like that. I had a question. When they're non-age stated like that, does the label say anything about the age for any of these three? And then if they're non-age stated and they don't say anything, do you assume anything like a certain age?
No. It's hard to like assume because it could be super young, it could be, not. Let's see. Varies by expression. Let me see if it says anything about the age statement on these. What's the wine cask age statement? Let's see if it says it at all. It says specs show that it matured for a minimum of 5 years before bottling.
Okay. And then it probably finished for another at least 6 months or something, right?
Yep.
So close to like 6.
So aged, at least 5 years and then finished a little bit longer than that. I'm trying to see if it says anything about the beer one. Okay. So the whiskey is generally matured for the beer one about 8 years and then finished. So, and then let's see.
8 is pretty good.
Yeah. And then let's see what the flagship is. Okay, so there's no formal age statement on that one. So it says it's got to be at least 3 years and 4 months, but there's no age statement on the flagship. So I'd say the flagship's probably around 4 years. But all right, so far I think the wine one is my favorite out of those three.
Actually, so far my favorite is the flagship.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. I was really impressed with that.
All right. The Gariana is going to be the one we do next after we talk about the 76ers game. So I think that was a cool game. Obviously, once again, like I said, here we go again. We're playing 76ers and no Embiid. So that's a little frustrating to see. But we still kicked their freaking teeth in. Like, we almost beat them by 50 points. I honestly was so pissed off that the last, 20-something seconds, we did not go for one extra bucket to say it was a 50-point blowout. But
I looked up at the screen like, wait, we're up by 50?
My boys were hilarious because they're like, Dad, why are they not scoring? We can beat them by 50. Why are they not scoring? I was like, they're just being courteous. And they're like, that's so dumb. And I was like, I know. I'm sorry. I hate to say that, this is sometimes what we do is we don't, take the gauntlet to them at the end. But what was your initial thoughts on that game? I'll go with you first, Al.
Well, when Embiid didn't play, when they announced that Embiid wasn't playing, I was like, okay, well, all right, sorry, let me back up. Leading into the game, after what happened with Indiana, right, and going to overtime with Indiana, and now having to play against the Sixers, my head was like, this is an L loading. These guys are going to be tired. OG Anunoby, he has an ingrown toenail. He's probably not coming back for weeks, just to let you guys know. So I wasn't expecting him to play. I thought it was L loading. They always play us tough. And so then...
All right, real quick. I'm going to let Apollo give any closing thoughts. He's on call right now because his coworker is out of town. And he just hit me up saying, dang, bro, I got to go. He got called in for work.
Go ahead,
so
do your thing, Apollo.
9:26 at night, and you got to go to work. So I'm sorry, Apollo.
Yeah.
Give any last thoughts.
And I've been drinking, right? Doesn't that help?
Yeah, right?
What are we talking about? The Philly? I'm trying to get my
you can just close out, like, you know, any final thought before you head out. I know you got to go. I don't want to keep you.
Yeah, man. Hopefully we continue to play some good defense the way we've been playing recently. Keep giving these guys minutes. Mo Diawara. These guys are going to break. I think Alvarado said during the break he's just gonna stay here and and just work out. Try to get right with the team. That's the kind of attitude, and I expect he's gonna be there with guys like Soshan. My bad. Yeah. Soshan. We'll figure it out.
Hey, do you think Soshan's gonna bite into Mo Diawara's minutes?
I had this conversation earlier with my boys. At first, I was thinking, yeah, but then I thought about it. The floor spacing that Diawara brings at this point, he's been trusted to be able to knock down that shot. I think that's going to always give him the edge over Soshan. And mainly that it's the fact that he can spread the floor the way he can and put the ball on the floor and also defend. So I think we might see a lot of those minutes of them out there together, which I think will be really, really important, especially.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, if you get Soshan to play more like a Josh Hart kind of style player. I think that'll work. But yeah, man, just hopefully these guys can continue. Hopefully, like I said, I feel bad for guys like Kolek. Yeah, Kolek. He's he's got the short end of the stick at this point. Jordan Clarkson, man. I don't know how he's going to carve out some minutes in this rotation. It's getting more and more difficult for him to do that. But he's going to have to play some defense in order to stay in the rotation. But yeah, man, that's all I got, man. Let me run.
All right, man. Be safe. If you need, take an Uber and we'll throw you something for it. So seriously.
Sure. All right, man.
Seriously.
Thanks, bro.
All right, bro.
Sure.
Be safe.
All right.
Later. Peace. To what he was saying when you were talking about minutes, I don't necessarily think that it's going to come from Diawara because there's other places that it could definitely come from. I think McCullough is going to see less of those defensive minutes that he's needed for because now you have someone who plays a little better defense than you do, even though you're good at defense. They bring him in for those defensive minutes, but he's also someone that can not only play defense, but is also really good at transition. Once you get the steal or the block or anything like that, he's pretty good at taking the ball down to the other side and getting a bucket as well. So I think he could get some of those McCullough minutes. I also think that you might see less double big minutes of Karl Anthony Towns and Mitchell Robinson, because now you have somebody that can come in alongside Diawara and Mitch, but still facilitate, still be able to run the offense, because that's one thing that he is good at. Even though he's not much of a shooter, he is a facilitator and able to control an offense along, which kind of helps with Alvarado being out there for defensive purposes. Now them two can kind of run the offense. You don't necessarily need Cat getting extra minutes for no reason. And so it also allows that if Cat starts getting in foul trouble again, you don't have to force your hand and keep him out there. You can keep him on the bench, and you can have Sochan come out there and, have some quality minutes. So I don't think it'll necessarily be Diawara that suffers. I think it'll be other people. I think McCullough, Porty might see less minutes as well. And all down the line, but I don't think it's gonna come into his minutes. I think it's still gonna happen. Shout out to my big bro. If you guys can, keep praying for him. He's still healing from his surgery and everything like that. He's the reason I started in this whole content game in the first place. So I thank him, but I also curse him at the same time because sometimes I'm like, what am I doing with my life? But yeah. So let's talk a little bit more about that Detroit game. Let's talk about what we saw there.
You're talking about the Sixers.
I mean, why do I keep saying Detroit? Yeah, the Sixers game. For me, you've got to look at Alvarado, bro. 25 points, 8 3-pointers made, 5 steals, and bro, freaking 19 minutes. He did all of that in 19 minutes. That's insane. Like, I don't understand how that is possible in 19 minutes to score 25 points in 19 minutes, as well as 5 steals and 8 of those, points being from freaking 8 3-pointers. I don't understand. So that was my highlight for the game. But what was your highlight of that game?
That was everyone's highlight, man. He also got the defensive player of the game. I always love seeing those pictures in the post game, like after the game. Yeah, the pictures with the team and defensive player of the game. He got the boots. That was awesome. Well deserved. He had 5 steals. But really, what I looked at when we traded for him was his shooting percentage from 3. And I think he was shooting like 34% or something like that. And I was like, I would like that to be a little bit higher. So then this game, he shot 8 for 13 from 3. I love that. Keep doing that. If he can shoot like that, obviously he won't every game, but if he can be a threat from 3, I think that is what we need from him. The other thing that I noticed from him is, bro, he's a New York City point guard. No one's stealing the ball from him. He knows how to dribble. He knows how to take care of the ball, and his passes are on point. When I see him pass, he hits the player when they're the most open. They catch and shoot. I'm like, bro, this guy's a phenomenal passer. And I love that what he said in the post game. He's going to stay back. He's not going to party. I like guys that are all about basketball and are serious about winning. Like, I'm not worried about going to party and all that. Like, that's why I don't like Harden. Like, he's worried about the strip clubs and stuff. Like, he's not a serious basketball player, bro. This guy's all, and that's what Leon has done, is he's assembled players that for the most part are like very serious about basketball and serious about winning. And that's what I like to see. So yeah, that was the Jose Alvarado game, man. I love that we spanked them by 50. I'm not a big Philly fan. I wish Embiid was there when they got spanked by 50, but I'll take it either way. It's a good game.
Yeah. You know what's crazy? 18 and a half minutes, 5 steals. That means it's a steal for every 3 minutes that he plays. That is crazy. And it's just it's crazy to watch his efficiency, but what is most crazy is looking at the numbers. I know we talk about, in order to win, JB needs to be JB was pretty much in the background last night. He had 8 points and only 4 assists in 30 minutes. But if you look, everybody else, Mikal Bridges, 22 points. Cat, 21 points. Shamet, 9. Brunson, 8. Jordan Clarkson, 8. Diawara, 14. Mitchell Robinson, 11. Jose Alvarado, but the big thing was we had 41 assists. I don't know if the Knicks have ever seen 41 assists, at all under this Jalen Brunson regime. 41 freaking assists. And so I give it up to the guys because typically they result to whatever Jalen Brunson is demanding. Like, let's be real. Like, they pretty much follow suit. But if you look, Josh Hart had 9 assists. Mikal Bridges had 6 assists. Towns had 5 assists. Shamet had 5 assists. Robinson, Alvarado, 4 assists. Like, freaking Kolick, 3 assists. Like, everybody was on their passing game last night. And that's what made us an elite team last night. That's what made this offense look good. And that's what I've been saying nonstop is if we actually move the ball, it can be any player's night. And that is what makes these Knicks different, is it can be Mikal Bridges for 28 that night, and it's the Mikal game. It could be Karl Anthony Towns for 32, and that's the cat game. It should not be that 1 or 2 guys are the ones that are expected to get these, nights every single night when we have such a diverse, talented roster that it could be anybody's game. Milk the hot hand. Milk the hot hand.
I always said we're the best when everyone's dangerous. When everyone on the floor is dangerous, that's when we're best. And you know what I was going to tell you is, what I noticed lately is Shamet's gravity has increased, dude. They're closing out on him hard. And that's how he got those 5 assists, because they're closing out on him hard, man. His gravity has gone up, and that's good to see, man. That opens things up for everyone else. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's the thing is, like, that only happens if you let those guys have those kind of games.
Yeah.
Like, if Landry Shamet was not able to have those 2 or 3 games where he was uncontrollable, like, teams wouldn't be paying attention to him. And they would be focusing on Alvarado more or this, that, whatever. But now they're like, crap, now we have to worry about Alvarado because he can go off on us. Like, Cat can, like, and that's the thing is, that's what frustrated me about that game with Jalen Brunson is, like, if he would have just taken okay, this isn't my night, and allowed any of the other guys in that fourth quarter, we would have sealed it up. Like, it would have been in the bag. We would have taken that Pacers game, and, we'd be on a 3-game winning streak right now, but
we should have.
That's not what happened. And so for me,
one other thing on 76ers game, we didn't mention Mo Diawara again. He shot 4 for 8 from 3.
Yeah, I know. And that's what I'm saying is, like, you got to give these guys their opportunity if they're showing that they deserve it. Like, I understood the JB days where we didn't have anybody besides Julius Randle that can put up a bucket.
Yeah.
But how many times have we seen? We've even seen games where Josh Hart has put up big numbers and shows that he's reliable. He's developed as a shooter and as a, offensive threat. So now all of our guys, except for maybe a few, are worth giving them their night if they're on. So it doesn't make sense.
What I would say is Jalen Brunson's ear is to the Twitter streets, because after that Pacers game, when everyone was like, bro, what are you doing? You're playing this hero ball again. He comes out against the 76ers and he only took 6 shots. So he's hearing us. Like, he's hearing what we're saying loud and clear. And look, I'm going to give him a little grace. I think last year he played a certain way, and he was probably told to play that way. And now he's being told to play a different way. And it's just, bro, he's a human, and it's going to take him some time to adjust. I know we're like midway through the season, further than midway through the season, and some people would expect him to be fully adjusted by now, but that's hard for an alpha dog. That's hard for an alpha dog. So give him a little grace. We do need him to be the alpha dog too. So, because Cat ain't going to be the alpha dog. So he has a balance that he has to find, and that's just not easy.
But
so
the alpha dog doesn't mean you have to chuck everything up. Alpha dog means that you could bite at any time, and people have to worry about you. But Jalen Brunson makes it harder on Jalen Brunson when he refuses to incorporate his teammates, because then the defense knows that Jalen Brunson can go into Jalen Brunson only mode, and that's when they can go, okay, that's the Jalen we're seeing tonight.
I think that's what they want, right? That's what the defenses want, right?
Yeah,
but
they say just double him. Just double him, lock him down,
Yeah,
lock
yeah.
him down.
And
He's the
no,
fourth.
and I agree with you 100%. All I'm saying is like I think he knows that, and then sometimes it's just hard for him to like old habits die hard, right? So it's like it's hard for him to like he goes into a certain mode, and it's hard for him to be like, oh, snap out of it and be like, wait, I'm doing the wrong things again. So
Yeah. All I
but
know,
he's listening.
all I know is I'm tired of dying. So let's stop. You know, let's fix it. Let's see more of what we saw last night. You know, like because the crazy thing is like if that game was closer and it was distributed point wise like it was, they would have to guard Alvarado when he's out there with Brunson. They would have to guard McHale while they're out there. That frees up Jalen. Now they can't double because they know those guys are both shooting well, you know? And so it makes it easier for Jalen. In the Pacer game, they knew what he was doing. It was easy to lock him down. You know, it was easy to like make him force stupid shots. But let's before we finish talking about this game and giving predictions about the Knicks, let's go into this last one, the Garyana. All right. Little
This is
history,
the 10-year, right?
Yep, little history on them. So Westland's signature 5-malt barley bill is, you know, composed of Washington Select Pale Malt, Munich Malt, Extra Special Malt, Brown Malt, and Pale Chocolate Malt. And so most white American oak barrels, they're called Quercus. Probably saying it wrong. It's Quercus. That's the typical white American oak, which is like a lot of what's used. But for this one, they used Garyana, which is readily found, and currently 3% of what existed in the past is what's available from these trees. It's a native tree from NorCal to British Columbia, through the pockets of Oregon and Washington, which is why they have access to them. But these trees need space. They are craggy trees. They're very twisted, and they need over 150 to 200 years to reach a size large enough that tree will fall. So about 150 to 200 years of growth for this crazy shaped tree to fall, which is nuts. And so, which is now not an option because there's a new law on environmental protection. But 14 years ago, they started creating and gathering these casks. And so they traveled the coastline looking for any fallen trees, going to every single lumber yard, searching for Gary oak, knowing that they needed about 50,000 board feet worth to be able to lay down these initial casks that they wanted to create for this bottle. So each edition of the Garyana has been a progressive expression, meaning that each edition is different from the last one. So there's a variation every year. So it's not exactly the same flavor profile. So it gives it space to breathe and showcase its different characters. But the primary casks for Garyana 12 are first and second filled Garyana oak casks. So this is a very rare kind of wood that this ages in. So I'm excited to give this a shot.
You can smell the barrel. You can smell the oak in this.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And this one's 10 years and 100 proof. You can smell that off the bat.
Yeah. Yeah, you can smell it. It smells nice.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Wow. Yeah, that's unique.
Yeah, you can taste the barrel for sure. The barrel's very prominent. I'm trying to see the other notes.
Wow. That's a very unique flavor profile.
I can't. I'm getting the barrel, so I can't. I'm not figuring out the notes. It's pretty sweet to start on the front palate. What are you tasting?
I don't know. Give me another second, because, like you said, like I'm getting what I smelt, which a lot of times what you smell is not what you taste.
Yeah, but it tastes good. I like it. I like a little oakiness. I like that. It's very good.
Yeah, there's like an earthiness to it. Definitely getting that barrel.
Yeah.
Man, that's crazy. So, all right. So what I am getting, I'm getting like hints of fruit, but I think it's not what I'm used to in a lot of whiskey. Like a lot of whiskey, you can like taste the juiciness from the fruit, as opposed to like this, it's like dry. So it tastes like kind of like when you have like dried fruit, you know, like that you get in those like little packs where it's like dehydrated fruit that you can eat it and you still taste the fruitiness,
Yeah.
but it's not like super sweet. It's just
Yeah.
like the flavor of it, but not the sugariness of it.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
so I feel like that's what I'm getting is like some dried fruit, whether it's like raspberry or strawberry. I don't know, but that's good. I like that.
Yeah, this was my favorite pour of the night.
Yeah, so this is like it's got like a toastiness to it, like a campfire-esque feel to it, which I like. You know what it reminds me of? You know, with the smokiness, it reminds me of a Lagavulin 16 without the peat. Like it's got the smokiness, the campfire vibes.
And now I'm getting the
Lagavulin.
smokiness on the end, and I really love that drink. It is very peaty, but I love that drink.
Yeah, so it's like those flavors without the peat, without that like, you know, flavor profile of the
That's
peat.
crazy that you said that. I was drinking that for my baby shower for the first time.
Yeah, that's good. I feel like that's it's the campfire without the peat of a Lagavulin 16 mixed with dried fruit is what I'm getting.
I just got I agree with all of that. I got but I also got like a little bit I think you're talking about it's the campfire, a little bit of smokiness at the end.
Yep.
It's not so the barrel is one thing, and then the smokiness at the end, which is the campfire that I think you're talking about.
Yeah.
Something that I just caught on to.
Yeah. Like
really
it's
nice.
not
Really
like
well
it's a distinct difference between the toasted barrel and the campfire taste that you get while you're sipping it more.
Yeah, that's amazing. Wow.
All right, yeah. So that's my favorite. So judge them in the order of your favorites, 1 through 4.
Okay, I'm gonna go with the 10-year, and then I like the flagship.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna go with the wine and then the beer.
Okay.
But I really liked all of them, man, to be honest. I would recommend all of them.
Yeah. Shout out to Westland Distillery. I am putting their link in the chat right now. My favorite is definitely the Garyana, followed by that wine cask. I thought that was really, really sweet.
Like the wine cask. Yeah.
Really cool, like mix of flavors. So I love that one. And then honestly, I don't know between the beer and the
I came around to the beer at the end. The beer one was actually really good too.
Yeah,
but I did
I think I would go Garyana, wine, beer, flagship. But beer and flagship were really close for me. So shout out to Westland Distillery for sending over these bottles. If you guys can, please give them a follow on Instagram, support them, let them know that you found out about them here at the Knicks Nightcap, and support what they're doing over there. Is
that something you think we could find over here in Florida or
no? Yeah. I think you can.
Okay.
And I'll check what stores that it would be at.
Okay.
But you know, so let's close off here. Shout out to Mitchell Robinson for a really good game. Me and my boys were cracking up because they didn't understand the whole third quarter of why they kept trying to foul Mitch to get all their fans free Chick-fil-A.
That was hilarious.
And I loved watching.
I was cracking up.
Silence them or point at them and laugh.
I was explaining that whole thing. I was explaining that whole thing to my partner while she was watching the game. I'm like, you don't even know what's happening and why everyone's making so much noise, right? I'm like, let me break it down to you.
Yep. Me and my boys were dying. They were like, "Oh, suckers, no chicken for you."
No Chick-fil-A for you.
So they were like cracking up.
And
They were
Mitch
like,
knew what was going on. Mitch
Oh,
knew
yeah.
exactly what was going on.
And it was funny because like they kept hacking him and he missed the first one, but then
And
made
made
the
the
second. And then on the last one that they were
He
able
made
to do
both.
before time ran out, he made both. And so me and my boys were cracking up and they were like, "Ha, you thought
Hey.
you could hack a Mitch and get some chicken?"
All right, but outside of that, I was very happy he made both. I was very happy he made one of two.
Yeah.
He needs to continue to be dangerous from the free throw line.
Yeah.
I can't stand this hacker Mitch thing because they get him off the floor and Mitch is a game wrecker. He's a complete game wrecker, man. He will destroy everything you're trying to do on offense.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if we can't have him on the floor, it's a disadvantage. So when Boston was doing it in my head, and I'm just like, they're scared. That coach is scared. He doesn't want him on the floor.
He said Mitch the chicken Nazi.
The chicken Nazi.
I love
that. That is a great name. But yo, when they go to a hacker Mitch, in my eyes, we already got him. They're done. We beat him already.
Yeah.
When they go to that, when that's what they have to go to, they're scared. We already got him beat. And if he could continue to make his free throws, they will never bounce back from that. They already admitted defeat. You know what I'm saying? But when he misses them, he kind of lets them back in the game.
Yeah.
When they resort to that, they already admitted defeat.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it.
And I give him props. You know, he's worked at it. You know,
he's been working at it.
Work. And it's going to take time. I do want to give a shout out to, Karl Anthony Towns in a game where Mitch didn't have the greatest of rebounds. He only had 6 rebounds for the whole night. Karl Anthony Towns held it down with 11 rebounds, 5 assists, and 61% shooting from the field. One thing I will say about Cat, I think in order for us to make a chip run, like actually make a chip run, he needs to find his 3-pointer before the playoffs.
I am concerned about that too.
He needs to find his 3. He went, 1 for 1, but he wasn't confident at all shooting it. Like he has not been confident at all.
That to me, again, is a reflection of coaching. I feel like coaching must not be harping on him to shoot the 3.
Yeah.
There's no way he's not shooting the 3 if we expect him to shoot the 3. Like, I don't know what's going on. Like, coaching needs to tell him he needs to shoot that ball, bro. Shaman has increased his gravity. I feel like Cat has decreased his gravity from the 3.
Yeah. I think the hard part is if you look at the game before, he went 1 for 6, and so when you're shooting that bad from 3, Cat gets in his head. Cat soaks up every single thing that the media and the fan base says. Like he has the same gene that Julius Randle had, that they cannot stay off the media. They cannot stay off, what people think about them. They care way too much what's being said. And so when you go 1 for 1 and the first shot you make actually goes in from 3 and you make a choice for the rest of the game to not shoot another 3, you're afraid of going 1 for 6 again. Like that's all in your head.
And you know what shooters do after they go 1 for 6? They shoot another 6 the next game. Yeah, exactly. Like dude, you crowned yourself the best shooting big man of all time, and you are now on the Knicks. And ever since you've come here, all you've done is decrease your 3-point attempts. Go look it up. His season where he averaged the most points per game, he averaged 8 3-point attempts per game with Minnesota. Now he's under like 4.8. He's like at 4.7. Yeah. I don't know what happened. I don't know if there's something wrong with his finger, but he got to figure it out. And he needs to get that number back up to 8 attempts per game. I don't care. When you said 1 for 6, I was like, I don't care. I'm glad he shot 6. Because the next game, what did he do? He only shot 1. I need you to shoot 6 of them. I don't care if you miss, dude, but you need to have the defense coming at you and opening things up for everyone else.
Yeah, like it's hard when you see like Diawara is now getting the confidence to go 4 for 8, you know?
Bro,
And
like, I don't get it. I don't get it.
I don't get it either, you know? And you have guys like Alvarado that are not known for hitting the 3 at that kind of
This
clip,
dude won
you
the
know?
3-point contest, right?
Yeah, right? And so it's crazy because like for a career, he's a 39.8 3-point shooter. And he's not shooting at that at all, you know, right now. And so and even if he's close to that number, it's because he's shooting so many less threes. And games like last night where he goes 1 for 1 increases his percentage, you know, to make it look like he's shooting better than he actually is.
It's one of those things that he's aware of percentages and what that means when he gets to the extension negotiation table, right? I think that's what it is, bro. That's been in his head, and that's him being selfish. He needs to focus on the task at hand. The coaches need to get him there, and I think that's something that we need to continue to watch and talk about on the show as we go on this, this stretch to close the season, and as we go into the playoffs. Because, bro, in the playoffs, we're gonna need him to make those threes, bro, and take those threes. He can't not shoot threes in the playoffs. That's not going to work. We need him to make those and take them and be confident in taking them. So whatever's going on with him in his head, he needs to figure it out. And I put a lot of stuff on coaching, man. The coaches need to get him there. Like, you have to be talking to him. Coaching brings out performance. Like, you have to get it out of him. If he's in his own head, you have to get it out of him.
Yeah. And that's the hardest thing is like, you know, like I said, we are going to have a hard time making it to the Eastern Conference Finals and the finals without a Karl Anthony Towns 3-point shot. Like,
you rather Mo Diawara shoot the 3 or Cat shoot the 3? I still rather Cat shoot it.
Exactly. and that's the thing is like, you look now, Boston got a 3-point shooting big, you know, like they looked and said, what do we need to make it in the playoffs? We need to stretch. We lost the stretch big in Porzingis that limits us to a driving mid-range, only if Jalen or Pritchard are open 3-point shot kind of team. So how do we open this back up to what we had at championship contention? Okay, let's go get a stretch big. Not only did they get a stretch big, but they got a stretch big who's been better at pick and rolls than even Porzingis was. You know, the thing that made Evan Fournier even look like a decent player in Orlando was the fact that he had one of the best, you know, pick and roll centers in the league when they were in Orlando in Vucevic, you know? And so they added a 3-point weapon to be able to produce extra points come playoff time. And we need that.
So let's talk. Let me add this topic in. You probably didn't have this topic, but and I kind of just alluded to it. What are the things that you are, now that we've finished this part of the season and then we're going to be going into the second half, the home stretch of the season, what kinds of things are you looking for in the home stretch of the regular season?
So for me, I'm expecting Mike Brown to look at what's worked this season, you know, and what hasn't. What's worked is that when we have 30 more assists per game, we are an elite basketball team. That's been the way that it's been for the last 3 years. 30 or more assists, and it is hard to beat this New York Knicks team. So I don't want to see games where we have less than 30 assists. There's no reason for it. Like, to me, it's madness to go, man, we win 90% of the games that we play when we have 30 more assists. So let's play this game and have less than 30 assists. Why would you do that with a 10% chance of winning? You know, like, that's stupid to me. So for me, what I want to see is the ball continuing to move. Like, it needs to. The way that this roster is built is we have too many people that can go off on any given night. that we should not allow ourselves to not move the ball. There's no excuse for it. Like, this team was roster constructed for ball movement. That is what will make this team better. So that's the first thing I want to see. You saw last night 40 plus assists in a game with this New York Knicks team means we're going to kick your teeth in. We're not going to win. We're going to kick your teeth in. Even on a night where JB has 6 points, our all-star, our all-NBA team player had 6 points, and yet we still kicked your teeth in. So that's what I want to see. Second, Karl-Anthony Towns, like I said, needs to find his three-point shot. Like, I do not think that we go up against the Detroit Pistons in a 7-game series and come out as the victors with Karl-Anthony Towns going 1 for 1 or 2 for 4 from 3. Like, I just don't think it happens. Like, I don't think that we have enough offensive power from our small guys to be able to beat a Detroit team in 7 games without us locking down that three-point shot from Karl-Anthony Towns. And Karl-Anthony Towns not fouling out is the other thing for me. So the 3 things for me is Jalen Brunson learning how to be not just Captain Clutch in the media, but captain of the New York Knicks, keeping the ball movement going and taking the shots that are best for the team and allowing the assist to be there. Cat figuring out his three-point shooting and his offensive fouls. And lastly, all the guys continuing to find their confidence. Last night, Jose Alvarado showed what confidence looks like. You know, like, be fearless. Go for it. Same thing with Diawara. Be fearless. Go for it. If we overthink it, we will lose. Why? Because teams like Detroit that are young and hungry, they're not thinking. They're just playing ball. You know, and so at the end of the day, if we're going to beat any of these teams, we got to stop overthinking and play basketball. So those are my takes for the rest of the season.
For the rest of the season, I'm looking at Cat's three-point shooting. That's top of mind. The defense, can we keep up this defensive prowess that we've showed the last 10 games or so? I think that's super important. I think that is what will buoy us to a championship, hanging our hat on defense. And then the other thing that I will be looking at is, how does this Jeremy Sochan acquisition impact Diawara, and how does Mike Brown toe that balance? Is he still going to give both of them minutes, or is Diawara losing his minutes? Because I honestly, I would like Diawara to keep getting his minutes. I want him to keep developing as much as possible. And I think a lot of times we've seen him already start to cut his minutes, and we're like, why is he cutting his minutes? So that's my concern with the Sochan thing. I do like the Sochan acquisition, but I'm worried that it will cut into Diawara's minutes. Look, at the end of the day, if Sochan is bringing us W's, then Diawara can wait, and he could develop in the summertime, whatever, right? He can develop in the G League or in practice or whatever. But that's just something that I'm just going to be looking out for. I'm just like, oh, is this guy's acquisition going to impact Diawara? Because Diawara is like I'm most excited about him, man. He's like, I get excited when he gets in the game and he produces and stuff. So, like, I'm really high on him, and I just want to see him continue to grow.
Yeah. I don't really see the Diawara concern, solely because, like we said, Sochan is solely there for defensive purposes and, you know, to run the floor, you know, when we get the transition buckets.
I am more focused on winning and getting playoff ready, though. So, like, at some point, Diawara is going to get cut out, right? Because, like, when we get playoff ready, the lineups get shortened.
But I think yes and no. Last night, the game against the Pistons showed that we can't cut out height. Like, regardless of trying to,
and against the Celtics too, when he was shutting down Jaylen Brown,
we cannot cut out height when it comes to the roster. Like, we can't. Like, if we cut out our height solely for the advancement of the guys that we have that are more developed, well, we chose more developed guys that are short. We can't cut out, you know, the younger guys who bring that defensive dog and that height. to the table.
Yeah,
Like
I agree with you on that, but I want to see how Mike Brown manages it.
Yeah. And so I'm hoping that Mike Brown, I think that he
Do the right
realized.
thing.
I think he really, yeah, exactly. I think he realized in that short stint that we were talking about, where we were like, "Where's those Diawara minutes?" I think he caught on because we haven't had that same concern over
You're
this last stretch of games. You know, I think that he tried to pull him out and realized that that was a really poor decision. And so that's one thing I do like about Mike Brown so far, is that like he hasn't stayed stuck in his ways and been like, well, I took DOR out, I'm going to keep him out. You know, like he's been like, that sucked. Like that was a bad idea. To the point where Clyde said, you know, he's young, but he's made it to a point where you really can't justify him not getting minutes. Like that's what DRWR has done. He's made it to a point where you can't justify saying, oh, I didn't let the rookie play. You can't.
And he's young. He's going to make mistakes. So it's your job to teach him through the mistakes.
Exactly. So I think that we'll see the DOR minutes. I think the Sochan minutes, I think he's there on a vet minimum for that purpose, you know, to come in, be a dog on defense, frustrate people. This allows it to be where, like I said, those McCullough 8 to 10 minutes that you see him come in, where we pull the guys that are a little like lack of defensive prowess, and you see McCullough go in. I don't think you're going to see as many of those McCullough minutes.
I got one more question for you for the home stretch. Let's revisit this question. Where do you see the Knicks like in terms of championship or bust again? Do you think we have a chance to make a run at this championship, or do you think that we don't have a chance? Like, because when it was doom and gloom, when we went 2-9, we were like, yo, this team is not championship caliber.
Yeah.
But what do you think now? Like, what do you think? Where are you at?
Yeah, so we weren't championship caliber because we were selfish. You know, at the end of the day, you know, you have a guy like Jaylen Brown, who's already been an NBA champion, who's okay taking the back seat on certain games for Derek White or Peyton Pritchard. You know, like that to me says I want another championship. That says I've been elite and I'm willing to be someone that still takes a back seat in certain games to make sure that we're still contenders for a championship. I think that this team showing what we're showing right now is championship caliber if Jalen Brunson can learn how to be a team player for the rest of the season. I think that if it becomes one of the things where we see, you know, in Indiana, he's so competitive that when McConnell starts taking him to the basket and, you know, making it hard for him to defend, and McConnell's putting up bucket after bucket, Jalen Brunson makes it a JB versus McConnell show. Well, guess what? That's great. McConnell could do that. Their season is ending in April. Congratulations. You know, like, what does it matter? Right now, McConnell's just boosting his, you know, importance by his numbers because he knows that he's going to be in Cancun come April. If you want to be in Cancun, JD, go bucket for bucket with their star player. You know, and that's the thing is you go against Detroit, it can't be the Cade Cunningham versus JB show. Why? Because Cade Cunningham is big enough to still drive on OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges. You're not big enough to still drive on every single player on that Detroit Pistons team. And it showed that even without Jalen Duren. So if you're going to go bucket for bucket against the Pistons, the Knicks are going to lose. Bottom line. But if you're going to play like we did the other night against the 76ers, then we're contenders. So to me,
he can't do that against Detroit. They got too many tall guys that are going to stop him.
Yeah. So I think that I think that for me, what it comes down to, whether we are contenders or pretenders, falls in the lap of Jalen Brunson. Like, do you desire enough to be a championship team to sacrifice personal accolades, or are personal accolades more important at the end of the day? If the personal accolades play more importance in the playoffs than team basketball and making sure that we're championship contenders, we will lose. If it's more about the team and less about how many numbers you can put up, then I feel like we are going to win and be able to take it to chip contention. So I think it falls in the lap of Jalen Brunson.
I agree with all of that. I also agree with Carbon Intellect saying us playing this kind of ball, don't see many teams stopping us. I agree with that, man. Like I'm kind of a little bit back on the train. Now, I was never really fully like I hated the pressure that the Knicks fans put on the team, like championship or bust, because the team has real holes, right? Like,
yeah.
Brunson and Cat on defense is just a huge liability that's hard to overcome. So it always worries me. But we did get to the Eastern Conference Finals last year. So my thing is, when you get to the playoffs, anything can happen, right? And the reason I said earlier, like, we need to be the 2 seed so that we can delay when we see Detroit, because you never know what happens in the playoffs. Injuries happen, a lot of things happen, and injuries can happen for us too. But like, you rather like a team could go through two grueling 7-game series, right, before they reach you. So who has the advantage? Like, for example, when the Pacers met us, right, 2 years, not last year, the year before that, and they ran us out the building because we had been through 2 grueling series.
Yeah.
So like, once you get to the playoffs, anything can happen. So I want us to get to the playoffs. I think we have a puncher's chance. I really think we have a puncher's chance. Do I think we're championship or bust? No, not at all. Oh, sorry, I muted my. Do I think that we can beat an OKC at full strength? That's going to be tough. The West is going to be tough, but the West is also going to go through a gauntlet, right? OKC is now going to go through a gauntlet before they get to us. So I think we have a puncher's chance, man. I just want to get to the playoffs. What I want to happen is we get to the playoffs healthy, at full go, hitting our full stride. The guys are clicking, and some things shake our way, and by God, we somehow raise a banner. That would be amazing. Oh God, that would be amazing.
So here's the thing that I would say. I know everything relies on who plays who and how exhausted you are and stuff like that. But on paper, like straight up on paper, based off of the players we have and the skill sets we have.
Yeah.
I look at paper and I look at us and I look at Boston. Even with Tatum, I would take the Knicks. Even against Detroit, I would take the Knicks. However, that's solely on paper. That's solely on what our roster looks like. What it comes down to is what do these people that are on our paper actually do with the game of basketball? Like, at the end of the day, you look at that Boston Celtics team, there's no superhero, like, at all. There are some games where Derek White is the superstar and everybody is okay with it. There are some games where Peyton Pritchard is the superhero and everybody's okay with it. There are certain games where Jaylen Brown is the superhero and everybody's okay with it. Same with the freaking Detroit game. Detroit has shown that they ride for each other and they will die for each other.
Yeah.
Like, even in that last fight, Isaiah Stewart came freaking launching off the bench because he's like, that's my guy. I got their back. And so it depends on which team is willing to sacrifice their personal accolades for the fact that they want to advance and win a chip. So for me, it comes down to Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns. Like, is this about me or is this about the New York Knicks? Is this about what's best for this New York Knicks team? Because at any given night, you look at our top 5 and I would put our top 5 against any top 5 in the league, like line for line of what we have to offer offensively and defensively. You know, same with our bench. You look at our bench, especially now, adding Alvarado.
We finally got a bench.
Yeah. We have Alvarado. We got friggin' McBride. We got Mitch coming off the bench. One of the best bigs in the league coming off the bench. You got even Huck Porty, who's the backup to the backup, which could be just the backup for other teams. You got Diawara. You got freaking Sochan now. You got Jordan Clarkson, even in his slump, is still better than a lot of people's main guys coming off the bench. So
you forgot Shamit. Shamit is a starter now. Like,
yeah, Shamit. You know, like
that's how good he's been. You forgot he's a bench guy.
Exactly. From top to bottom, our team is better than I'd say 99% of the league. Like maybe OKC has a better top to bottom roster than we do. But that's it. And so for me, the only reason we don't make it to the finals is because someone in that lineup decides to make it about them and not about the rest of the team. I think if we play selfless basketball, we are unstoppable. Like straight up unstoppable. We put up 35 to 45 assists per night. Can't stop us. I'd rather have that. That's the most important stat to me than anybody scoring 30 plus in a game. Like I don't give a crap about 30 plus.
That's another thing to watch down the stretch, the assists every game.
Yep. So that's for me is the biggest key is, are we going to play selfless or selfish? If we play selfish, we're done. Like I can see us going out in the second round.
I'm pretty sure every single time, I'm pretty sure we're something and whenever we gotten 40 assists in a game.
Oh, easily.
I'm pretty sure we've never lost when we
40. We don't even need 40. I think it was the stat was like 85% win ratio when we have more than 30 assists. And yet we still have games where we have 20. Like, I don't understand. You have an 85% chance of being the victors if you just move the frickin' ball and you choose not to. That to me is absolute insanity. Like, I don't understand. Like, to me, that's stupid. So if I'm the New York Knicks, I'm saying I do not want to play a game where we have less than 30 assists because I know that we can win if we have those assists. So that to me is what we look for. Our first game back, I believe, is against the Cavaliers. What are your thoughts? And we'll wrap on that. Do you think we take that win with their new constructed roster with James Harden, the biggest jump lily pad of the NBA besides LeBron James? What are your thoughts?
You mean James Harden and Travis Scott? Because Travis Scott is like all over their post games and I don't get it. It was kind of weird.
I don't get it either, but it is what it is.
They've actually looked like they're kind of clicking a little quicker than I expected. I expect it to be a tough matchup. Look, man, the way I look at these things is like I don't run from these things, bro. Like I welcome the challenge. I want a challenge. I'm not scared of nothing. Like you present me the Cavs, the new look Cavs, it's a new test for us to see where we're at, where we have holes, right? And it's still the regular season, so it doesn't matter. But I'm looking forward to it, dude. I'm looking forward to it. And I think we'll win that because James Harden is going to be doing a whole bunch of extracurricular activities during the All-Star break. So he's going to come back a little what do you call how do you call that? He's going to come back like rusty.
Yeah.
You want to say that. Rusty, out of shape, something. He's going to be hungover, one of those things. He won't be ready. So I think we win that game. Who's our next game? Our next game is
the Cavs.
No, the Cavs were first. And
the game after that. Let's see.
Detroit again?
Let's see. Oh, Detroit game, right? He's out for 2 games, Detroit? And one of them is us. Yep.
Now that's the one that I really got circled. I would like to see us show a lot better there because I'm actually worried about them. So I'm more worried about the Detroit game than the Cavs game. Whatever happens in the Cavs game.
Maybe it's the Bucks. Hold on. Let's see. So the first game back is the Bulls.
Okay. The Bulls
So we play
trying.
the. Oh no, that's the 22nd. Hold on. I screwed up. That's All-Star game.
I can get it right.
Monday nothing, Tuesday nothing, Wednesday nothing, Thursday. Oh, so I'm wrong. Our first game back is Detroit.
Our first game back is Detroit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that game's important to me.
Yeah.
First of all, so here's another reason why it's important. I want to see how our guys took the break. Were they like, being like James Harden and doing all the wrong things, or were they locked in? Right. That's what I want to see. Who was locked in and who wasn't locked in? Who's really serious about this and who's not serious? I can't want it more than you want it. You know what I mean? And there's some players that you see like that, man. It's like, yo, I don't need you on my team if I want it more than you want it, man. So that's what I'm going to be looking for in that first game.
Yeah. You know, what's crazy is like, I was wrong about the first two games back. The first two games are going to be pretty important. One of them is that game. Like I said, I'm frustrated because we don't play Duren, which is frustrating because I want to know what this team actually is like against this Pistons team full force. And we're not going to have that privilege of knowing what it's like to play a Pistons team with Duren because he won't be there. But the team after that is actually the Rockets on a West Coast division that I think is actually more competitive than the East Coast division. And so we'll see how our team fares up against two very good teams. And I think this can tell a lot for us about how the rest of the season is going to go. Our first four games back are Pistons, Houston, Chicago. Chicago is not really that big of a deal. But I don't, so that one's kind of like whatever. But then Cleveland right after that, which, they're right behind us now. So I think that those four games, 3 or 4 of them are going to really tell us what we have moving forward. And so I'll close on this, and then we'll share where people can find you. I thought it was hilarious because we talked about like James Harden and this being another team. I saw something that made me crack up the other day where they were talking about LeBron James and they were like, yeah, LeBron is the GOAT. And they were like, but he's not the greatest of all times. GOAT stands for go on another team so that I can win. And I was dying because I read something about how like LeBron wants to go and end his career this summer on the Cavs. And I'm like, of course you do. They freaking have Donovan Mitchell, James Harden, Jared Allen, Mobley. Of course you want to go there. Like, you freaking bum. So I thought that was hilarious. But anyway, Al, let everybody know where they can find you and how they can support you.
Yo, Semi-Auto 155 on Twitter. That's where I'm mainly at. Always talking Knicks. And then you can always find me on YouTube. I do another show called Nick Life Crisis. So at Nick Life Crisis on YouTube. Just two 40-year-old guys chopping it up about the Knicks. We got a lot of baggage, a lot of trauma with the Knicks. And then also got a beautiful family that we kind of mix in and talk about. So like anyone that's going through that 40-year-old midlife crisis, have a family, they can relate and love the Knicks. Please pull up. We just started going live last Sunday. We went live for the first time. We always did recorded shows. So I think this Sunday we're going to do another live. It went really well. So be on the lookout for that. So if you are around, I think Sunday around noonish, pull up.
That's what's up. Speaking of going live, my guy, Ron from Still Knicks Fans will be having a large superstar show this Saturday. Being that it's All-Star Weekend, talking about like where are we at as Knicks fans halfway through the season. So support him. He did ask me if I would hop on. I'm going to get the approval of my wife before I say yes, but he texted me during this show. But either way, support Ron at Still Knicks Fans this Saturday. I believe they are starting at, let me check text message, Ronnie Ron, this Saturday the 14th. I don't know. Probably at like 10 or 11, but they'll pretty much be going all day. It's like a superstar panel of just different people from different channels coming in and rocking with Ron. So support them, support Knicks Life Crisis, support Westland Distillery. So you guys know, if you're watching this live or on playback, next Wednesday we have a game. So we will, I believe we have a game Wednesday and Thursday next week. So we will be on Tuesday next week. Yeah, we'll be on Tuesday next week at the same time right here. So join us as we hang out and we talk about the New York Knicks and what happened over this last week. We will be taking some samples from a brand called Take, which is very, very rare whiskey, and a guy who creates some amazing barrel picks with some of the best brands that are out there. And so I'm excited to connect you guys with him and have him on the show next week. So that is next Tuesday, 8:00 p.m. Lock it in. Al is new. He might not have even known it was 8 o'clock till about right now on Tuesday, but now he knows that it's Tuesday. So appreciate you guys all for rocking with us, being with us till 10:30 tonight. Don't want it to go too long. Hopefully Apollo is, safe and sound wherever he had to go, but we will connect with you guys soon. Please subscribe to Al's other channel and be there on Sunday. No one likes showing up to a live and seeing that there's 3 people watching. That sucks. So do him a favor and make sure that you rock with him on Sunday and support what he is doing. So until next time, drink responsibly. God bless you guys. Shout out to Gusto NYC for the apparel. Please support them. Pick up this runner's hat and do not be caught dead on the streets running without it. So deuces. Appreciate you guys.
Peace.
This is the moment we waited for. Everything you want is right here. We gon' give them what they came for. We gon' take it up from last year. Shoot 'em my shot, boy, I'm long range. Me and the team on the same thing. Stayed down, never switched up. Only thing changed was the game. I'm in the zone now. Nothing can change what we on now. When I pull up, know it's going down. Foot on the gas, ain't no slowing down. Aiming for greatness, no settling. Kick down the doors, they won't let me in.